Welcome to another episode of what? That's not good. Welcome to another episode of While the Kids Are Sleeping.
I'm Nat Zara.
I'm Incisive. I got to start with an apology.
To me?
No, why is it always to you?
Oh.
You always asking, why am I apologising to you every time I say it?
Oh God,
I'm
I'm going to be upset now.
Out with an apology. For those who don't know, this is While the Kids Are Sleeping. I'm Incisive, that's Nat Zara. We are married, but this podcast is not about relationships.
Or marriage.
Or children, but it's called While the Kids Are Sleeping because we do it while the kids are sleeping. Welcome to all the new listeners. We've got quite a few. Shout out to all the new Patreon subscribers.
Hi,
so we
guys.
do our normal episode every 2 weeks on all DSPs. But if you want us more every week, then you can sign up to our Patreon where we got weekly episodes. So in our Patreon episode, a recent one, we had a numbers topic and I was discussing numbers and I said the number 13 is a bad luck number.
Yeah.
And that in Heathrow Airport, there is no gate 13.
I bet there is.
There's gate 13 in Heathrow Airport. My source, guys, was ChatGPT. I've gotten a bit lazy. I normally research, and I tell you, look, don't even believe anything on this podcast. I normally research from 3 different sources on the internet. This time I thought I'd just ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT gassed me and said there's no gate 13 in Heathrow Airport to support my thing about...
the number 13.
The number 13 being unlucky, and they don't use it on the floors, in high-rise buildings and lifts.
Is that even true though?
Yeah, some high-rise buildings. Like with Heathrow Airport, I checked and I went onto the Heathrow Airport map. They don't have gate 13 in Terminal 4.
Okay.
That is supported. It goes up all the numbers. It skips 13.
Okay.
So I'll give them
I wonder
that.
Why?
But other terminals, there's Terminal 3, there's gate 13, big and proud. So this is a lesson to you guys as well. ChatGPT hallucinates. That's what they call it. That's what even the maker, Sam Altman, he said, I'm surprised a lot of people use ChatGPT instead of Google because it hallucinates so much. It makes up stuff, and it makes up stuff like big and strong. So it will tell you a lot of stuff that's true, and in between that, it will slip in something that is completely not true.
Oh my God.
And then when you ask
that's so deceptive.
when you
I
ask
like
ChatGPT, hang on a minute, that wasn't right, was it? Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so don't believe ChatGPT.
Why does it do
I
that?
apologise. There is gate 13 in Heathrow Airport.
In case your flight was going from gate 13, guys, it is a real place.
It's a real place. One sec, I'm just changing this up. Yeah. So I've got some random things about the kitchen. These are my kitchen thoughts. So Nat is the only cook in the house. She cooks,
The prime.
She cooks every day.
Soul cook.
And I know whenever I say that, people roll their eyes, right? Especially women, I tell that. They roll. I do not cook in my house. Nat cooks. People roll their eyes. And then I follow that up with the fact, Nat cooks and she leaves the kitchen in whatever state she's cooked in. And I have to, yes, my job
You clean.
in return to clean up the whole kitchen, do all the dishes, put all the food away.
I don't even take my plate. I don't even scrape my plate.
She doesn't even scrape her plate. So that's the exchange we have in our house, whatever. That's what we've got. My kitchen observations are as follows. Oh, all my notes are in the mess. But no matter how hard you try,
Yeah.
you cannot store pots and pans neatly. I'm yet to see one person's kitchen.
Pots and pans.
Millionaire,
Ours are
billionaire,
neat.
pauper, middle class, working class. You cannot store them in a neat and tidy way. They're stored neat enough, but they don't stack neatly. It's like, put that one on top of that one.
Sorry, rude. That's how I know you don't put the dishes back properly.
No,
they
our
are
pots-
stored nicely.
When you put some pots in, are they not like the handles at an angle because it doesn't quite sit properly?
Yeah, okay,
Right,
yeah,
that's what I mean.
but-
That's what I mean.
Okay.
It doesn't stack neatly and perfectly.
Okay.
No matter what. Why?
Yeah.
They need to make some universal thing about
you
pots.
can get pots now that the handles are detachable.
I'd like
so
that.
it always, bro. You don't cook. It's not about what you like.
It's about putting it away. But anyway, that was my observation with that. Guys, get rid of your Sainsbury's bags, please. It's enough. Your main, and it's probably going to be a higher class bag. You might have like the big Waitrose bag, and inside the big Waitrose
or
bag,
the paper M&S one,
or the paper, and then inside that you got all your other bags. It's enough. I know you pay for your bags.
I see what you mean.
Get rid of some of those
do you know
bags.
what?
It's too many, guys.
If I'm being honest,
you don't need all of those bags.
Do you know what? Since you have to start paying for bags now, and bags cost money, for one, people don't have as many of the plastic bags anymore. We don't have a lot of plastic bags. We have bags for life.
Guys,
we've got a lot of bags for life.
Get rid of
and
some
I'm not
of the
getting
bags.
rid of those.
You don't need all of those bags, I promise you. And then the last thing is this. I'm going to tell you what I don't like, right? In the evening, you want a little snack, you want a little something, even if it's a little drink, yeah? Either a drink or a snack, and you're watching TV. You go to the kitchen to get said drink or snack, right? You start walking back to the sitting room to continue watching your Netflix show. By the time you sit down, you finished it.
How? It depends on how big the snack is.
You finished it. Or it's halfway done. So what I've realised now is when you go and get that snack, you need to get something for the journey.
But why do you need something for the journey anyway?
Because it just feels good when you got the snack and you're drinking it while you're walking it. And you know you're walking kind of slow because you're drinking your drink. And you're doing that I'm drinking my drink walk, so I'm sort of slipping my feet. We need
I don't agree with that.
allow for snacks for the journey. And then, so when I sit down, I've got my brand new fresh snack. Because by the time I sit down, my drink's half drunk. My snack's half snacked.
The only thing I don't like is if I get a snack and you are messing about, looking for the show, changing the settings, doing it. By the time you've done all that, the snack's flipping finished.
This is the thing.
That's what I don't like.
We want our snacks for the show, not for the journey. I don't like that. You don't like that?
No, I don't.
So we need to consider snacks for the journey, snacks for the weight of getting the TV show.
No, you need the show to be ready. That's what you need to do, is have your settings done.
But I need to be there as well. It's just a consideration.
Okay, fair.
By hook or by crook, we need to do that. And I just flung that phrase in. Because I learned something about by hook or by crook. Do you know where that's from? Do you know why they say that?
By hook or by crook?
I'll do that by hook or crook. By hook or by crook. What does that even mean?
Something to do with pirates with a hook.
No. What does that even mean? Because we say it, we know what it means. Wait, it doesn't make any sense.
Isn't it by...
Most things make sense.
Yeah, hook or by crook.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me tell you what it means. So, the south of Ireland, you got 2 points. At the top, you got, or it might be one way round, don't quote me on this. But on one side, you've got the hook point on Ireland.
Right.
In the south of Ireland. And the other side, you got the crook point. Yeah?
Right.
That's what it's called. Hook point at the top, crook point at the bottom, let's say. On the other side of the island, right? In the south of Ireland. When Oliver Cromwell was invading it, he said, we're going to take Ireland by hook or by crook. So it's coming in, we're going to get in at the top or we're going to get in at the bottom. Either way, we're going to take it. So that's what it means.
Oh, wow.
By hook or by crook.
Okay.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Didn't know.
The other day, Nat broke her knee. She didn't break her knee, but her knee was hurting her.
My knee was so painful.
And so she decided not to go to work because her knee was so painful, right? And so she texted in work saying, I can't come to work because of my knee. I was like, okay, so you're off work? No, I'm working from home. I think we have evolved beyond sense. And it happens sometimes. Like sometimes, the laws haven't caught up with the online digital music and all that kind of stuff. The copyright laws and all that. Sometimes it hasn't caught up. I think sick days haven't caught up with the new remote working. Yeah. I think we need a new level of sickness, remote sickness. Yeah. Because just because you're sick enough to not come into work for any ailment, they'll still ask if you can work from home. Oh, that's all right. You can work from home if your legs broke. Back in the day, if you couldn't get into work, you're not going to work. Yeah, no. Did they ask you? Go on.
No. I said I'll log off from home. And the only reason why I did it actually was because we've got a certain amount of days we have to be in the office, and if I'd stayed at home that day, that I wouldn't have done my quota of days in the office.
Yeah, but if you had stayed at home that day, you could have just said, I'm sick.
Yeah, I could have.
And then that would have been a real sick day.
Yeah, I could have.
But then that was the in-between.
But you know why as well? In my head, it's like, bro, if I'm off sick as well, I've just got bare work to do. I just know it's going to be looking at me.
You could be sick. Don't.
No, I know that, yeah. but I could work. If I was sick, and I've been sick, like where I'm, I've got the flu or whatever, for instance, then I wouldn't log on.
I would like to introduce to you my new phrase, remote sickness. So if you're too sick to work remotely, but that should be another level of sickness. You should be able to have like 5 remote sick paid days and then maybe 10, or the other way around, maybe 10 remote paid days if you're too sick to work even remotely. But you should also be able to be too sick to get into the office, like your knees broke, and you shouldn't have to work. Why should you have to work? Because back in the day, if you can't get into the office, then you can't get in. Then, she's going to have to see you tomorrow. Yeah. You can't check your emails, you can't do anything. Yeah. And you couldn't get in.
I get it. I know.
Now, we are like 90% of the time, we're sick enough to, I got a bit of cold, I didn't feel great to get in, but, I think I can bump in.
Yeah. If I'm like not well with a cold or something like that, then I just wouldn't log on.
Oh, you wouldn't log on. That's remote sickness then. You'll be too sick for remote. Okay, fair.
Yeah.
It's a cold
And
flu.
I have been.
But
There's
then
been times where I have
if you're
been.
incapacitated
Yeah,
to
like,
physically get to the office.
Yeah, then I'll log on.
Back in the day was sick.
Yeah.
Now it's been shoved down to, okay, you're just work
Just
from
log
home.
on
Then.
from home.
Log on from
Yeah.
home. I think we need to catch up with that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because before COVID, in my old workplace, if you were sick, but you had the ability to work from home, they would say, don't work from home.
They would say, don't work from home.
If you're too sick to come in, then you shouldn't be working from home.
Right.
But then I bet even that company now would be like, log on.
Everybody changed.
Because it benefits them as well, doesn't it, really?
It does. So, men need to do better. That's hot in here, boy.
Guys, it is roasting in here.
It's a hot day. We're loving it.
Jeez.
Well, we're not loving it.
No, but it's really hot in here. But anyway, go on.
Men need to do better in terms of conversation. So I've found in my life, I don't watch football. I'm not into football. I used to play football. I used to be quite good at football, believe it or not. But I don't watch it or follow it or even have a team. Common ground for men. When you meet men, a man meets a man. Mm-hmm. As far as I know, this is my experience. You do your informal, how are you, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And if there's any conversation to be made, the go-to is, what's your team?
Yeah.
Or did you watch the game?
Yeah.
We're going to win the cup.
That game last night.
They just jump into it.
I watched the game last night.
And then do you know what I say? I don't watch football. And they look at me in shock and disgust. What? You don't watch it at all?
What? You don't? Have you got a team?
Nah.
No.
And then they force it. If you had to pick a team,
who would you pick?
What would it be? No, I don't watch football.
Like
I don't watch the football. And then a lot of men are lost.
Yeah, that's poor. That is really poor, to be honest.
So my question for the day is, what are easy icebreaker conversations? Because this is men. Not even from just in general. I don't know what women's go to. You lot can have conversations in the toilets. I hear about it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know how does that start?
I love your shoes, babe.
Right.
Oh, where'd you get your dress from?
Right, there you go. Common icebreaker. I don't know if guys can compliment each other on their drip, on their fit.
I don't know though.
It's got to be in a certain way.
Yeah, I don't.
It can't be the first opening thing.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
And it can't continue it. But yeah, go on. So
how could I think?
Easy icebreaker conversations.
I mean, music. You could be like, "Oh, what music are you into?"
Do you know what? I find some people don't listen to music.
That is weird. I'm sorry. People don't listen to music.
Not my kind of person.
I'm sorry. You're not my kind of person. That doesn't make sense.
But yeah, so when guys find out I don't watch football, so what are you into then? Music. I like listening to music.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. Who's better, Nas or Jay-Z?
Oh my gosh, bro! In the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, music. Yeah.
You don't think music's one?
I don't like talking about music to people who aren't like...
What? But you can't...
Because then, they come up with debate questions like Biggie or Park. Oh,
yeah.
Allow me, bro.
Yeah, but really, it's an icebreaker, and that's how you get deeper, isn't it? Then they'll establish how deep you are and you'll establish how deep they are.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a high level question.
Icebreaker could be music. What music you're into?
What sort of music into you?
I think that's a boring question. What about like what's your most 5 recent? So I like to take it further.
No, but Rue, but that's it. People don't do that. Your questions or tell me the last time you did something for the first time. It's not a question that people think of. People, when you said like, "Whoa, that's a really good question," that's not a normal question. We need a high level, basic question that you can build on.
Yeah. Because to be honest, nowadays in social settings, I do find myself asking a lot of my podcast questions.
You do.
I just throw them out there.
Literally.
But it's
people
easier.
love it.
People love it. And do you know what else I've realised is a natural go-to is what do you do for work?
Yeah.
And actually, I try and avoid that question.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a boring go-to. And let me see who and how you are if you're not allowed to talk about your job. Let me see who you are.
I think that applies for some people. Some people are very like, what's your job? Because they want to know your status or where you are.
Yeah. But
some people probably maybe just ask it for conversation.
Yeah, but I think that's an easy go-to. And I think that's such a big part of someone's life, but at the same time, not a big part. Like, who are you beyond your job?
Yeah.
I really like to know that. So I try and avoid the whole job question in general.
Yeah, I understand.
And then just try and be like, who are you? Who are you though? So music, sports.
Yeah.
But I mean, this question is about avoiding that question.
Yeah, I suppose if they didn't know, they might be like, oh, you married? Have you got kids?
Kids, family. Well, family, not family.
You know
if
what I
you've
mean?
got kids or married partner.
Yeah. Where you from?
Where you from is an interesting one. When people ask you where you from, what's your answer?
I just say I'm originally from West London. I live in Hertfordshire.
I thought you were gonna say, okay, fine. So you say your living location as opposed to your ethnic background. You just did.
Yeah.
Don't,
Yeah.
It's too late now. That's what you say.
Yeah. Usually.
It depends. I think I can gauge it. You can tell how somebody says
someone's
like,
asking like where you're from.
Or,
so
where are you from? I know you're trying to find out if I'm Ghanaian. I can tell.
Yeah.
But if you say, oh, so.
Yeah, because people don't say where. They might say where do you live.
Where you from? Whereabouts?
Pete, do you know what I've noticed a lot? Well, this is what I say. If I'm in like a networking environment for work or whatever, I say, "Oh, where'd you travel in from?"
I like that phrase. I like that one. Where'd you travel in from?
You took a gasp. You're like, oh, I like that.
Where did you travel in from? Okay, yeah. But in a normal social setting, I think that's a weird question.
Yeah, in a normal social setting, it is.
You could ask that. But
I think that's.
Let's jump back to social settings. If someone asks you where you're from, I actually ask the question.
Sometimes I might clarify.
Yeah,
sometimes I might. If I'm, I'm going to answer the question. If you want to know where I'm from, like, originally, then I'll tell you.
Yeah, guys, these are some ideas. Give them to your partners or men listening. Take these ideas on board, because what team do you support? It's enough now.
Yes, it's so childish, guys. Come on now.
It's childish. So, have you got enough, or have you got any more?
Well, you should think of some more. You're the one that wants to be.
I'll throw in podcast questions. You know me. I've got good questions.
No, but what would you like people to ask you?
Oh, an interesting question like one of my.
Oh, you want an interesting question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like interesting questions that like the beyond the normal surface level. What do you do for work?
Okay.
What's your team? Big Your Park.
Yeah.
Give me an interesting question. Like, what's the last 5 songs you played?
That's a good question.
Look at that, see?
Was that off the top?
That was off the top. That's off the top. But yeah, I don't know.
Episode.